rave about their results. Check their 5-star reviews on Google. Plan your dream backyard today at jacksoutdoorsolutions.com.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, letting you know that Hardball now offers web stores, so your employees can order their own branded gear, and you have more time for Wordle. Check it out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Home of the Jaguars, WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Old school.
Gonna be stolen, I think, by the doctor. Yes, he's got it. Ray rocked the baby to sleep and slam dunk.
Stolen by Bird and the cut to DJ. Yes! Buckle up for Kobe Bryant.
New era.
Oh! A jawbreaker! Curry, way downtown. Bang!
It's all basketball.
A spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
Lace 'em up. It's time for 1010XL's Open Gym. Leading the break, here's RJ Saunders.
And it is Open Gym here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. RJ Saunders here with you. As always, we so do appreciate you guys being here with us on a Sunday morning. There's several ways in which you can get on the program here with us. You can do so on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosure. 641-1010 is the number. We are also streaming on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We would love to interact with you guys there as well. A lot going on in the NBA as we are now down to the final stretch of games. Going to have a lot of good games on this afternoon as well, beginning with the Knicks going toe-to-toe against Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs. I believe that's a 1 p.m. tip that'll be on ABC. Now, kind of want to start with this, and this also kind of leads into our question of the day because I do want to get into it with you guys. Who's going to be the future face of the NBA? In business, you're always thinking about the future. Who's going to be leading the charge? Who's a face in which you can put in front of your business, right? For example, Johnson and Sons, if it's a plumbing company, once Johnson, who you're going to assume is the father, once he leaves the business, the sons are going to be the new face. The NBA, for at least the last decade and a half, 2 decades, the league has belonged to 3 names. And we talked about this last week with Sean Powell of NBA.com. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. And all 3 of them gave us amazing storylines throughout their time being the face of the league. LeBron, he gave you a career that can be defined by longevity. Many others would say that dominance also rode very high in terms of his legacy. He also made the game mobile. Jordan made it global, especially in 92 with the Dream Team. LeBron James, what he did in 2010 and during that season, or that off season, I should say, going to the Miami Heat to join Dwayne Wade and later on Chris Bosh, he made it possible for every other player in the NBA to say that not necessarily do they need to stay with one team. Now, he also made it possible for individuals to team up with their friends, but that's another story for another day. Kevin Durant gave us scoring brilliance that has absolutely been effortless. A guy that is 6'11", some may say 7 feet, some may say 7'1", and a guy who can score the basketball, run like a deer, and almost has little to no flaws in his game, especially on the offensive end. He showed us that you can be that size and score at an elite level and not necessarily have to be a traditional 4, small ball 5, and rebound and block shots. Steph, he changed the game geometrically. He changed the geometry about the game. Now the game is played more space out. We used to play the game in terms of going outside in. You dump it into the big man. Now everybody's looking and chasing the three. That's why you see a lot of kids now in the NBA, or a lot of kids now in the AAU game and growing up and watching basketball in this era. You're able to go on a shooting gun for about 2 hours, right? But once these guys are gone, because we're now in the twilight years of these three, who's going to be the next face? And LeBron James, from those three faces in which we named, he was the guy that was the forward-facing individual, right? There are going to be many guys, I believe, that we are going to put to the forefront in terms of who is that next face, who's going to be that next dominant guy in the NBA. But the funny thing is, it hasn't been named yet. And I would like to have thought that the NBA would have done a much better job figuring this out more quickly. Now, Sean Powell, when we had him on last week, he said that, hey, listen, we have to let the streets decide, the NBA streets, decide who they want to be the face. Well, here was Rich Paul when it came to, now, do we need just a forward-facing guy, one individual to say he's the face of the league with other talented players, or does it have to be a guy like LeBron James who has kind of held everything down for the last 24 years? This was Rich Paul with Max Kellerman on their podcast talking about who could potentially be the face of the NBA, if at all.
When I look at the league today, talent-wise, yeah, there's a number of guys that you can say could probably be the face of the NBA at some point. I think it's going to be a collective of players, just like it was when Michael left in 1998.
It was a collective, but if there was one, it was Kobe. If you had to choose one.
I don't know.
Who do you think it was? There's Kobe, there's Shaq.
I don't think it was one person. I think it was a collective. I think you had Iverson. I think you had Vince. I think you had T-Mac. I think you had Kobe and Shaq. I think there were storylines with all of them as a collective.
I agree with that, but I think Kobe emerged after several years as. But you're right. It wasn't the same as like Jordan or LeBron.
Yeah,
he wasn't all by himself.
Yeah, but that's what that's what the face of the league actually is.
The funny thing about all of these comments, and I agree with Max Kellerman, although there were many guys, and like we talked about it at the top, Kobe ended up being the guy who wanted that title. He wanted to be the face of the league. I believe now that the NBA is in a peculiar spot, because for the first time in the era of the entire NBA, we could be asking ourselves, does an international guy hold the mantle for being the face of the league? And the NBA has never had to ask that question before. The NBA has had a lot of great international players come in and out of their league, whether that be Vlade Divac, Peja Stojakovic, Dirk Nowitzki, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. I understand people say he's from the U.S. Virgin Islands, so, I mean, Tim Duncan, they try to have him as an international guy. Arvydas Sabonis, but he came in late. He was on the back half of his career when he finally got to Portland. We've had a lot of great international players in today's game who have won MVPs, have won NBA championships, and finals MVPs, being the leaders of their team. Giannis, Jokic, Shea. And we may start getting to Victor Wembanyama. And is Victor Wembanyama the leader in the clubhouse for said face of the league? Now, he's kind of been wishy-washy about it. It really doesn't feel like he wants to stake his claim on it yet. This was him at the All-Star game talking about the potential of him being the face of the NBA.
I think this is something that will get answered on its own. It's not something that you can really force or manufacture in a way that people respond to, if you know what I mean. So I have no worries about that.
If you were building a face of the league, right, in a lab, I think Victor Wembanyama is your guy. 7'4" with guard skills. This is what NBA 2K makes millions of dollars off of, right? Shot blocking, can shoot the three, and he plays for San Antonio. And the system in San Antonio is back. We may see another dominant run from the Spurs over a 20-year span if Victor Wembanyama is able to hold up. He's a unique guy. He's got an entire country behind him in France, but the rest of the world is loving him, not just Texas. And I think he's already a marketing dream here for the NBA. So the question isn't going to be talent, but the question for all of these guys, in which we're going to have to answer, is winning. Wemby's going to have to win. Superstardom is one thing, in my opinion. But being the face of the league usually requires championships. We saw that from guys such as Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Magic and Bird, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And it seems to me that the only guy that I've heard right now say that needs to continuously be the standard was one Iman Shumpert. He was on ESPN First Take.
If you don't win, that's the conversation. We're not finna sit here and say, oh, do you want to be the face? That's what Wemby was talking about. That's manufacturing it. Don't ask them, do they want to be the face? You want to go over there and take Shea's trophy? Go take it. That's how you become the face of the NBA. Mike didn't become the face of the NBA just because he looked cool and he got a bald head. He ran up on them dudes in gold, and he took it. So if you want to be the face of the league, go out here and take a championship when we sitting up here saying we don't know if you could go take one. You go take one, you get in the conversation. You come back the next year, you prove you can go back in there again, we start to conversate about you being part of this league, being one of the faces. That's where Steph started to turn the curve back when we were playing. You started to think this is Steph Curry's league. This might not be LeBron James's league, but it's because you have to hold up the crown. Can you hold up the crown multiple times? Can you make sure that everybody in the playoffs has to change how they play for you? Can you change the game? Then we'll say you're the face of the league. Until then, they're going to keep Jerry West on the logo, and they're going to keep talking about LeBron and all the rest of the guys before that, and then we're going to talk about a package of young guys. But until somebody goes out here and has multiple trophies multiple times, we don't want to hear face of the league.
So that's going to be the substratum in which we are going to have in terms of who's going to be the next potential face. If we're looking at Wemby and we're saying that we're going to go a global superstar, he has to win. JJ Redick also had made a point before he got the coaching job with the Lakers, and this was late last season, or 2 seasons ago rather, where he said you have to want to be the face of the league. And LeBron James, he had talked about, I don't know why individuals would want to be the face of the league when you have a media system who's always disparaging on the league and its players, but I didn't want to come in and be the face of the league, which is an absolute crock. But if we're taking that at face value, that's okay. But I also do believe that LeBron James also in that comment talked about the responsibility that he understood. When JJ Redick says there needs to be a want to from these guys, a want to be the face of the NBA. The standing answer, I guess, for American-born players, if they continuously want this to be an American-born guy, is the fact that you're saying, well, Anthony Edwards needs to be the guy. Anthony Edwards has been so back and forth on it. I don't think he wants to be the face. Now, he would give kind of a politically correct answer during the All-Star game. Here was Ant.
I mean, it ain't something that I'm just like, I'm out here just shooting for. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it happens, it happens. Like, I'm not somebody that's like, oh, I'm trying to go out here and be the face of the league. But if it happens, I'm not going to shy away from it. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, if he going for it, I hope he get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of been the standing answer with a lot of guys in the league. This may be a 4-man race, and I'll give you my 4 before we finish this segment. I think when they wanted it to be Giannis, I think Giannis won at the game of life. He's saying, listen, man, I came from humble beginnings. My family was selling sunglasses in Greece just to try to keep food on the table. And now I'm playing in the NBA. I've been able to have two of my brothers play in the NBA as well. Being the face, it's a nice cherry on top, but I don't necessarily need it. Luka may be playing himself out until he wins an NBA championship. I think there's a lot of other things that need to go right for him, and the LA Lakers have to help assist in that. But being with a global brand such as the LA Lakers will certainly help. Seems to me Anthony Edwards, his standing answer, and we just heard it, is, listen, if I have to be, I will, but I think he wants to give that to Victor Wembanyama. The NBA probably thought Zion Williamson was going to be the guy, but I mean, what a missed opportunity there for one Zion Williamson, because I mean, since he had been catching lobs and throwing down on kids back in high school in the Carolinas, we just automatically thought this was the next LeBron James. LeBron could probably leave 2 to 3 years earlier than what he's playing right now because we have the new face. Right? Ja Morant, I thought that you were going to have to make a decision on. He kind of gave you that Allen Iverson feel, where he didn't give you the aesthetic of what a face of the league was supposed to be, at least in David Stern's NBA at that time, but the kids loved him. People are cutting up the ends of socks and wearing them as arm sleeves and putting on headbands. You have little kids wearing cornrows because of AI. And you had to look at him as one of the faces of the NBA. Now I think you go down to 4 people. I think you're looking at Victor Wembanyama, who may be the leader in your clubhouse right now. I think you also have to look at Anthony Edwards, who I think the NBA would like because you continuously hype him up as potentially the next Jordan. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, especially if he runs off a couple of more championships here, which I think he is, but I think this championship road is going to be difficult for OKC. They may be able to get to the NBA Finals once again, but that's going to be much more of a strenuous road, in my opinion. And then you have to face potentially the Detroit Pistons or even the Boston Celtics going into the NBA Finals. And then 4th, and this is a guy who has really wanted to be the face of the NBA, but they won't give him the credit as of yet, and that's Jason Tatum. If Jason Tatum rounds off a couple of more championships, on top of the fact in which we look at the numbers, and I think he's a very marketable guy. Now, he may come off as boring, but so did Tim Duncan. He may not be the flashiest guy, but neither was Steve Nash. And Steve Nash was looked at as one of the faces of the league at that time. But someone's going to have to stand out. Someone's going to have to take the mantle. And someone else is also going to have to win. The winner right now, like Iman Shumpert said, is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who I feel is going to be fighting for that spot. He's going to say, hey, don't forget about me. If Wemby wants the title, if Ant wants the title, they're going to have to win a couple of championships. And they're going to have to defeat the man to be the man. And right now, the man is Shai. But Shai, not yet, is your face. But I do not believe that the NBA, the biggest question in which they're going to have is whether or not we can have multiple faces. The NBA in its whole entire look has never been, we're just a multiple face league. No, we have a lot of faces, but we have one that's always going to stand out. The biggest question now for the NBA, in my opinion, is, are we ready to say, if it's going to be Victor Wembanyama, of those 4 I named, are we ready to say an international guy is the face of our league? And I would like to think this is what 92 was supposed to bring, right? 92 was supposed to now usher in that we are now a global league. And when you see 2004, 2006, when the USA isn't dominant in the Olympics or the World Games, you saw that the league is getting better and international talent is getting better. The NBA has just never had to say an international guy is our best player, even if they win league MVPs, finals MVPs, and championships. They've always been looking for that American guy. But they may have been on to something in February during this All-Star game, having the world against the USA. And the face of your league just may have been from the world and Victor Wembanyama. Those are just my thoughts. I would love to hear yours, 641-1010 on the text line, or you can hit us up on social. Just search 1010XL Open Gym on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. Now, the Orlando Magic looking to right the ship after losing a big one to the Houston Rockets on Thursday. Was able to talk with Dante Marchitelli before that game, but also ask him about this hot button topic that is Paolo Banchero. And Desmond Bane had some comments about the Orlando Magic star after a Tuesday win against the LA Lakers. Is this a guy, when we look at a case study of Paolo, is the critique valid? Or is everyone just popping their gums and don't know what they're talking about? Let's discuss with Dante Marchitelli right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Live play-by-play sports were made for radio.
Well, there is advertising worth the price of admission.
And 1010XL was made for you.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by May 14th.
The Florida Forum welcomes world-renowned chef and humanitarian Jose Andres at the Center for Performing Arts March 31st. His impact spans the globe as founder of World Central Kitchen, Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient, and global leader using food as a force for change. All proceeds for the Florida Forum benefit the Women's Board of Wilson Children's Hospital, supporting a new outdoor play area for behavioral health services. Get your tickets now at thefloridaforum.com.
Listen to whatever you like, whenever you want.
I like this.
1010XL on demand. Ad-free shows after the live shows end. Channeled by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. Search where you find podcasts.
At Hollis Pools, building a pool is personal. We sit down with you, listen to your vision, and bring your backyard dreams to life right here in Northeast Florida. Working with us doesn't feel like working with a contractor. It feels like working with family. Every Hollis Pools project supports Project Savior Outdoors, helping bring hope to our veterans. Visit hollispools.com. Hollis Pools, your vision, your pool, your escape. License number CPC 1461233.
This is the home of the Florida Gators. Get your Gators hoops on 1010XL. Brought to you by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah, Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville, and Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors.
When it comes to glass, you don't want average. You want flawless. Duval Glass and Mirror has transformed homes and businesses across Jacksonville for over 35 years. Frameless showers that wow. Mirrors cut exactly to your style. Fogged or broken glass replaced. Decorative tabletops, windows replaced or repaired to stand up to Florida storms. All backed by a 100% guarantee. Visit DuvalGlass.com for your free quote. There's only one name for glass and mirror around these parts. It's Duval!
Spring is almost here. Is your yard ready? Lucas Tree Service, a family-owned business with over 45 years of experience, is your local certified arborist for tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for residential or commercial properties. Protect your home. Boost your curb appeal and get top-notch service from a Jacksonville company. Make sure your trees are healthy and safe before summer hits. Schedule your tree inspection today at lucastreeservice.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
I'm Mo Wagner of the Orlando Magic, and you're in the huddle with RJ Saunders on Open Gym on 1010XL.
Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
It's Open Gym here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. RJ Saunders here with you, talking hoops in the 904 with our next guest, who I simply view as family, and one of the biggest reasons as to why we're able to talk round ball here in Northeast Florida. He is Dante Marchitelli, Orlando Magic host, as well as sideline reporter, and the host of Magic Insiders on 96.9 The Game, giving us a couple of moments to talk about this ball club as they welcome in the Detroit Pistons to the Kia Center. Dante, it is a pleasure, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. We had a successful road trip. It was about 8 days out on the West Coast, and 6 of them in California. And at the end of the day, got a great win against the Lakers, so that made for a happy flight home. We spent the night, so we weren't flying all through the night. So hopefully they got their rest and they'll be ready to go here tonight against Houston.
Now, before we get into the 3-1 record on the West Coast swing to start off the second half of the year for the Orlando Magic, just wanted to get your feelings on the first half of the year. I understand that there are many Magic fans that are disappointed due to the fact that this team at this point of the regular season is in a top 3, top 4 seed in the East. Many projected that they would be. A lot of injuries have gotten into the way of that, amongst other things. But I do think we saw a lot of positives before that All-Star break, one of which being the emergence of Anthony Black. But just want to get your overview of that first half of the year and how you took it in.
Well, I think you got to look at everything, in totality. I think it was frustrating with the injuries that we've had. I think the travel that the Magic had kind of played a factor in it as well. It's definitely not where they thought they'd be or where they wanted to be or where they expected to be. Currently 6th in the Eastern Conference, but only a couple of games out of 5th. Right, and an outside chance, maybe. You look at those top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference. You didn't think, okay, with the addition of James Harden, Cleveland probably doesn't fall out of that top 4. But you never know. You never know what that looks like with Cleveland and New York here down the stretch. So you still keep the hope alive with 25 games left that you can maybe get in the top 4 and still host a first-round series. But you have to avoid the play-in, and hopefully you can find a way to maybe even get up to 5th here in the East when it's all said and done. But I think if you look at since the start of last year, you've had Jalen, Paolo, and Franz together healthy for 19 games, right? That's it. Just 19 games since the start of this last year. Since the start of last year, you've had Paolo and Franz together for 58 games, So when everybody's saying their predictions and the Magic will win 50 games and they'll come top 4 in the East, which is what we all thought was very possible and what we expected and what we thought would happen, you're doing that based on them being healthy. And you're doing that based on having your top 3 guys for the entire season, and that's what's going to help you get there. Unfortunately, you've not been able to do that. So I think you're hopefully now have found something. You've won 6 of 8. You're playing much better basketball. You're knocking down shots. Desmond Bane has been a revelation. That guy has absolutely emerged as one of the best players, certainly in the Eastern Conference, but one of the best shooters in the NBA, which we knew. Paolo Banchero, you just know how good he is. I mean, we know we have a superstar here in Central Florida, and he's been carrying this team the entire season. He was just otherworldly on that road trip. So you've got guys that are stepping up, but you need more. You're not getting anything off the bench right now. That has to get better. Mo Wagner has been terrific, but outside of that, you're just not getting much out of that second unit. So you need more contributions there. Wendell has been an absolute beast here the last couple of games. So guys are starting to pick it up. The other thing too, RJ, I think that, with all the travel and the injuries, I think those 7 days off for the All-Star break really did this team some good as well.
You brought up a couple of guys there in Desmond Bane and Paolo Banchero. I want to touch on both of them, beginning with the 23-year-old, because he's been absolutely sensational. And honestly, he has been dominant since the turn of the calendar. But these last 4 games on that West Coast road swing, he was an absolute monster. Just where do you fall in this Paolo Banchero case study? Because it's now turned into this hot button topic. And I listened to you, I listened to David Steele during the pregame, and also listened to Jake Chapman. And when you guys talk about the numbers that he's put up, whether it be the night before, or in the last 5 games, or in the last 10, the last 20, you're always following that with saying he's the first guy since Luka, Magic, and LeBron to be able to put up that kind of a feat. Or he's the only Magic player since Shaq and Dwight and Tracy McGrady to be able to average these numbers in this many games in terms of a span. Now we get into this year, and there's Magic fans and NBA fans and NBA analysts that are irked for whatever reason by his play on the floor. This is what's been my argument, though, over the last few weeks when I continuously hear this. He's 23 years old. He's still trying to figure it out. The Orlando Magic as a team and an organization are still trying to figure this out. You're the 4th youngest team in the league. I think that Jeff Weltman hopefully is able to put a consistent winning product out there on the floor so that this team can have a deep playoff run that ultimately results in an NBA championship. And if you watch Paolo Banchero and how the opponents game plan for him, they're going to double him. They're going to triple team him because they understand the headache he can be on a night-to-night basis. Desmond Bane, I thought, said it perfectly with Jake Chapman following the win against the LA Lakers that, hey, we don't listen to that outside noise. Neither should Paolo. We understand that the talent in which he is and what he's able to do, it doesn't matter what the outside says because they're really not watching the games if they're really having issues with them. Chandler Parsons almost comes behind that and says the exact same thing in terms of, if you're saying that a guy is a disappointing player averaging 22, 9, and 5, then I don't know what conversation anyone is having with you for that matter. Just want to get your thoughts on this Paolo Banchero case study and where you view this young budding superstar in which the Orlando Magic have as their franchise cornerstone.
Well, anyone that doesn't think Paolo Banchero is the man or the best player on this team is an absolute idiot. I mean, that's honestly that's where I come out on the whole thing. And you're talking about a less than 1%. You know, it's always, you know, that kind of percentage that gets active on social. And yeah, sure, it's easy. It's a product of the record. The team's not playing well, hard to pull out wins. Paolo Banchero's quote unquote bad games are still 22, 8, and 6. Like 92% of the NBA would kill to have that as their bad game. Now listen, you're doing it without Franz, you're doing it without Jalen, you're getting double and triple teamed, and you're making the right play, career high rebounds per game. Your assists are up. You're trying to set your teammates up. They got to help you. They got to knock down shots, and that's what takes some of the pressure off of that. There's not a player in the league that can go double and triple teamed every single night and get you 30, right? It just doesn't happen. They'll do it for stretches, but not the entire game. And that's what we're seeing from Powell, to the point that Orlando's not even being guarded beyond the three-point line because there's so much attention on Paolo. And then you've got 2 or 3 guys on him, and then you can watch every replay. Anytime he puts the ball on the floor, the other 3 heads are turning and looking to see where he's at and coming after him. So he has drawn nothing but constant attention, and still, to me, delivering and putting up those numbers. The other thing it tells me, which Bain's comments were fantastic. I love that because who does care? And it doesn't bother him one bit. The other part of it is he's arrived. To me, that's what it tells me, that you've arrived. When you're getting that national scrutiny, when people are looking at you, if the Magic were 20 and 50, nobody would care. Right? Then nobody would be looking at him and saying, "Oh, we got to take a look at what's going on down there in Orlando." It's because there's expectations, because he's an all-star. He's the number 1 overall pick, so he's always going to have that label, and people are always going to be examining and scrutinizing his games. The bottom line is you need that guy on your team when you're trying to win a basketball game, especially late in the season, especially in the playoffs, because that guy can score. He's a bucket getter. He's a problem. He has gravitational pull where opposing defenses are always locked in on him, and he makes the right play, and that guy is going to win you a basketball game. And we know it. We knew it. And, you have stretches where it's frustrating and the offense isn't working and guys aren't knocking down shots. And, yeah, okay, you hang your head a little bit and you're frustrated with it, but you're also 23 in your fourth NBA season, right? With that kind of attention that you have. So I think it's remarkable what he's done. We know the eye test tells you can look at every single number or statistic and you can see, you go back to last month. Go back to last month and look at his points, rebounds, and assists. It's just him and Jokic. Right, so you tell me that's a disappointing season, right? Come on, we know what we have here in Central Florida. 99.9% of the fans know what we have, and everybody loves Paolo. We appreciate Paolo, and Paolo knows how good he is, how good he will be, and what he means to this franchise.
Continuing our conversation with Dante Marchitelli, Orlando Magic host and sideline reporter here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Speaking of Desmond Bane, I don't know if the Magic win those games on the West Coast trip without the play of Dez. He's certainly showing you why you brought him here and you gave up those picks, because he's absolutely been clutch in the final moments of games for the Orlando Magic. We especially saw that in LA against the Lakers. And there's one piece of this that's never going to be shown on the stat sheet, but his leadership has been absolutely unmatched, and it's certainly what this team has needed. Your thoughts on the play of Desmond Bane starting out this second half of the year for the Magic?
He is an absolute star, and I think that guy's going to be an all-star next year. I really do. When he calls it winning time at the end of games, and obviously most players do, but he goes out there and he thrives in that time of the game, and he wants the ball in his hands. And how many times has he come through for this Magic squad? His last 14 games, 15 now with the win over the Lakers. He's over 50% from three in his last 15 games. I mean, you're talking that's almost a quarter of the season where he's over 50%. He's almost up at his career average with his three-point shooting. But he went back-to-back games of 30 plus. The free throw shooting, right? He's third in the NBA in free throw percentage. He's one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA. But even more than that, RJ, I don't think we realized his ability to put the ball on the floor and finish right hand or left hand, his ability to score off the bounce, to pull up jumpers, get to the free throw line, all the things that he does offensively. We know about the shooting. We know the guy can flat out shoot, and that's what we knew he would have when he got here. But I think all of those other things have been incredible. And then you look at the intangibles, right? So you look at his answer to the Paolo Banchero stuff, right? You look at how he's vocal, how he helps the younger guys, how he's always talking to his teammates and trying to figure out a way to get better. I mean, it's just remarkable what this guy's able to do. So I think it's been an unbelievable pickup. I think it's been huge. Every single time we watch him on the floor, we understand why Jeff Weltman went out and got him. Right. Sometimes I wonder if 4 draft picks is enough to get a guy like that because of how good he is. So now, ideally, at some point, you're going to have everybody together, and then you're going to see even more how valuable that guy is. He's been great in postseasons, right? He's been to the playoffs 5 times, 5 different series with the Memphis Grizzlies. So you're going to see how good he is in the postseason. He loves the end of games. He loves the he loves the pressure pack situation. Hit that enormous 3 at the in the final minute against the Los Angeles Lakers. So we've got a good one here in Desmond Bane. He loves being here. He's having an absolute blast. He loves this team, this fan base. And we're so fortunate to have him on this team.
You're hoping that guys can be healthy. This Orlando Magic group can be a complete team before the season is all said and done. One of the big pieces that is going to need to be there in order for that to happen is Franz Wagner. He said that he wants to be out there with his guys. And I mean, obviously we saw that both in Germany and before the break in the final 2 games he played against the Milwaukee Bucks. I think this is a guy who says, hey, if I'm 45%, I want to be able to go out there and play. He's out for the next few weeks, but he does seem in good spirits. He does also believe that he'll be back on the floor this season for the Orlando Magic. I understand that was a huge blow when you hear that he's going to be sidelined again for the next few weeks, won't be out there with the ball club. I've been back and forth in terms of whether or not you shut him down, or do you just honestly reevaluate him in 3 weeks, see where you are in terms of record, and say, let's bring him back and put everything on the table? But I think one thing is clear here, Dante. Franz Wagner, if he can, he's going to try and play.
Well, and sometimes you got to protect the player from themselves, right? Franz is a guy that doesn't miss games. He has played with sprained ankles, rolled ankles, sore wrists, whatever it may be. He plays through it, and back into it, whatever it may be. Franz Wagner is severely beat up by the end of an 82-game season, just by the nature of how hard he plays, how he drives, how he defends, everything that he brings to this Magic team. So you can certainly understand him wanting to be out there on the floor, and you can certainly understand him wanting to play in Berlin. I mean, that was absolutely that was something that him and Mo certainly had circled, and Tristan da Silva for that as well. And they wouldn't have put him out there if they thought he was at risk of hurting himself. But he tried it. He felt good, and then saw that it just needed a little more time after that. At this point, you just have to make sure it's right. So I don't know what that looks like. When you go back to that injury in New York, you'd be hard pressed to watch that injury and not think to yourself, this guy's done for the year, right? It looked like everything went wrong with that leg, right? And then to find out it was a high ankle sprain, you're like, oh, you're almost relieved.
Yes.
But oh my goodness, okay, well, we're going to get him back. Well, but then you realize, well, high ankle sprain is no piece of cake either. I mean, it takes a long time. It takes a long time to recover from these things. So you're going to reevaluate. It's been 1 week. You're going to reevaluate in another couple of weeks. And I know they'll proceed with extreme caution, because now they've had him come back a couple of times, and it just hasn't quite been right. So you'll look at it, and if he is 100% ready to go, no pain, and it's just a pain tolerance thing, and you're not going to hurt it, but you just kind of got to strengthen it, then he'll go. Right. But if there's anything nagging, or if it's just not right, then he won't. So that's the evaluation that they'll have to do in a couple of weeks. But hopefully he's able to go, and you're not going to bring him back or rush him or put him in a situation where he's going to further hurt himself, because that guy wants to play. Yes. And, and when he tells you it feels good, you're going to put him out there. Right. And hopefully he's able to go, because he means too much to this team.
Final one for you, as we're joined by Dante Marchitelli of the Orlando Magic, host and sideline reporter here on 1010XL. As the quest for getting out of the play-in continues for the Magic, they're welcoming in the Detroit Pistons, who have been a tough out in the NBA and in the Eastern Conference. Just want to get your keys to victory here for the Magic in today's game against Detroit.
That'd be huge. And first of all, thank you for the tremendous partnership with you guys up there in Jacksonville. We're so proud. We're so honored to be a part, to have you as part of the Magic Audio Network. So thank you for carrying that game. I think that'll be a fun one for Magic fans to listen to. Listen, this Pistons team just caught lightning in a bottle. I mean, everyone thought they'd be probably, improved from last year. Right. There's nobody. You can't find anybody that said this team's going to run away with the Eastern Conference, right? And that's kind of what we've seen. It's a team that plays on the edge, RJ. If I'm being quite honest with you, they seem combustible, like to the point that, they play so chippy, so ready to go. We've already seen one altercation. They just seem like a team on the brink. And if they just get one more push, man, they are ready to go. So that's something that they're going to have to reel in. I don't mind that, though. I don't mind playing with that edge and that fire. We saw it with the Bad Boys. We saw it with that Pistons team in 2004. I don't mind that. I just wonder at some point, is it going to be too much where it could hurt them potentially in a playoff series where things get physical and you lose a guy for a couple of games. But until then, it's worked for them so far to this point. So the Magic can't get caught up in that. You can't get caught up in all of that stuff. You just got to go out there and beat them at their own game. And that's what we did in Detroit. Just locked down defensively, got some big stops down the stretch, and survived a huge game from Cade Cunningham. Jalen Duren has been a huge problem for us. So has Cade Cunningham, but they've been a problem for the entire league. That's why they're all stars. So you got to find a way to slow them down. You can't let them get loose. You cannot turn the ball over on them because they like to get out in transition. They can knock down threes. They just pound you in the paint. They're unbelievable on the glass, second chance opportunities. I mean, there's so many things that they do well. But the Magic, the Magic are 17-9 at home. They're one of the best records in the Eastern Conference in their own building. And you have a chance for a huge quality win against the Detroit Pistons on Sunday. And if you win that, you win the season series, which would be huge. There's not a lot of teams that can say that playing the Detroit Pistons. So a lot on the line, a lot at stake. But I know they'll be ready for it, and that's going to be and they'll have 2 days off before that, which I think is huge as well, and hopefully get rested up for what is going to be a very, very physical battle.
We now get into the final stretch of the NBA season for the Orlando Magic. Still have everything in front of them, and if you are here in Northeast Florida, you'll be able to listen to a lot of it here on 1010XL, much in large part, and many thanks to this guy, Dante Marchitelli, host and sideline reporter for the Orlando Magic, as well as the host of Magic Insiders on 96.9 The Game in Orlando, who also mentioned that we will have that game for you against the Detroit Pistons here on 1010XL. Dante, it is an absolute honor, as always, to have you on, sir. You know how I feel about you, think of the world of you, and hopefully we can do this again sometime down the road. Appreciate it.
Anytime, RJ. You guys are the best. I'll do anything you need. I'm here for you. Take care. Keep up the great work. We'll talk soon.
Will LeBron James finish his career in a Laker uniform or have his farewell tour somewhere else? Let's discuss on Open Gym.
Put a little hot sauce on your lunchtime listening. Spicy. Joe Coward, Matt Hayes, and Leon Searcy. They are XL Primetime. 4-alarm fired. From the big #1 Duval Ford Studios. Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010XL.
Are high-interest credit cards and other loans sucking the life out of your finances? It's time to say no more. Let Loan Pronto tap the equity on your home and get the cash you need now so you can pay it all off. Hey, it's Prosser here. Corey and Jack called Loan Pronto in a matter of days. They had $160,000. They kept their 3% mortgage intact, didn't even need an appraisal, and with all that cash, they wiped out all their credit cards and 2 car loans, saving $2,000 a month. You can do it too. LoanPronto.com, the rapid equity loan program, can get you $100,000, $200,000, even $500,000 in cash. Chloe and Ethan just did it. Consolidated all their high-interest debt into one super low monthly payment, giving them an extra $1,000 a month. Imagine, pay off all the credit cards, slash your monthly payments, breathe easier. Get your life back. Interest rates are at 3-year lows. Call Loan Pronto today, 904-999-1500. That's 904-999-1500. Or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Mark your calendar for Friday, April 17th at the Yards for the 2nd annual Birdies and Bounces, presented by the Mackenzie Noel Wilson Foundation. This premier golf and pickleball tournament brings together competition, community, and purpose for an unforgettable day on the course and courts. Proceeds benefit the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida, helping create great futures for local kids. Register or learn more at bgcnf.org and click events. Join us for a day of fun and impact for youth in our community.
Don't miss your chance to see LPGA Tour Stars of Tomorrow competing at Atlantic Beach Country Club March 5th through the 7th. It's the Epsom Tours Atlantic Beach Classic presented by Access Golf, and it's the first stop on the pathway to the top 15 ladies receiving LPGA Tour cards at the end of the season. So get out there and watch some high-quality golf. Support the ladies of tomorrow. Tickets and information available at AtlanticBeachClassic.com. That's AtlanticBeachClassic.com.
There's something about hearing the game live that makes it all come to life. Feel the energy on 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
And that concludes the Joe C. Jack of all trades show. Tune in next week where I'll be installing my own French drain.
Joe, wake up, man.
Hey, John, I must have dozed off.
We finished those projects you started.
Whoa, my seamless gutters are actually seamless.
And they're connected into underground PVC drain lines.
And my sprinklers. Wow, look at that coverage.
Next time, just call me first, Joe.
I will, but I ain't singing that song.
Clearwater irrigation
and drainage too.
Hey there, ET here with 1010XL. And here's a little how to be cool secret. No need to wait for an anniversary or a birthday. I just simply dial up Kuhn Flowers and send someone something special for absolutely no reason. It's really fun, and I can do it online at KuhnFlowers.com.
For 25 years, Instant Keys has been the go-to locksmith service for car keys, transponders, and even high-tech smart locks. For honest, professional locksmith service,
Instant Keys comes to you.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. When you need a trailer hitch, gooseneck, or RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We've been doing it for 55 years, and customer service is our #1 priority. Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The First Coast Games is an annual team-building challenge to introduce fun activities into the workplace and focus on your employees' health and wellness goals. These goals include some friendly competition, of course, including pickleball, cornhole, volleyball, flag football, and other team sports. The games will begin in March. Register your company and teams at fcymca.org.
If you're thinking about getting a new roof sometime this year, Endless Summer Roofing can help. I'm Claudia, owner of Endless Summer Roofing. Stronger materials, expert installation, real peace of mind. A new roof isn't just an upgrade. It's the primary source of protection for your family home. Visit EndlessSummerRoofing.com for a free inspection today, and I'll make sure you're ready for tomorrow. Endless Summer Roofing. Protecting your home from Florida's endless summers.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, here to share with you an actual client review.
Dude, these shirts are sick.
Check out the shirts and other sick promo items at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focus, fueled, fearless, Farah.
I'm Desmond Bain, passing it back to RJ Saunders. It's Open Gym on 1010XL.
Much thank you to Dante Marchitelli. Great insight. As we said, we recorded that interview on Thursday. We also got word that unfortunately we will not have the Magic against the Detroit Pistons. You can hear that game. However, if you are in the Orlando area, on 96.9, The Game, Jake Chapman will be on the call. And, of course, you can watch it on FanDuel Sports Network, as we will have David Still, Jeff Turner on the call, and your sideline reporter will be the great Dante Marchitelli. Much thank you to him once again for giving us a couple of moments. All right, before we do get out of here, understanding that our time is limited, let's talk about the question that's starting to hang over the NBA like a famous Game 7. Where's LeBron James going to finish his career? We know that he has defied father time here, had another great game last night against the Golden State Warriors. I believe he finished with 22, 7, and 9. So yet again, almost another triple-double. But after this season, especially with that article that came out that spoke about Jeannie Buss and how she really hasn't appreciated the full LeBron James experience, you're asking what's next, because he is in a contract year with LA. Is he staying in Hollywood? Is he going out to chase one more ring? Does he go home, or does he do something that nobody sees coming? And I would like to think in the here and now you're saying that he is probably going to stay in LA. But we did hear Los Angeles Lakers great Byron Scott talk on Power 106 that, he thinks it's time for LeBron to go. And I think many would also be of the same mindset that it is time for one LeBron James to go. You need to start building this thing around Luka Doncic. So if LA is not the place, and I would also assume that the Clippers wouldn't be an option should he want to stay in LA, is going home the answer? Something about that smells fishy to me. Now, I do think that that's the leader in the clubhouse, depending on where you gamble, Hard Rock Bet or whatever place have you, right? Cleveland's talking about they may only have a 2-year window with Donovan Mitchell, who they're worried about may not stay there long term. Are they willing to allow LeBron James in a potential farewell tour to get in the way of that? That I do not know. Because if LeBron James is going to stay there for 1 year, then you're essentially saying that, we don't know if Donovan Mitchell's going to stay. Let's try to win a championship, and maybe that will convince him. Funny enough, I've also been thinking about the New York Knicks as potentially being a team that could ring in LeBron James. Remember, I think this was the team in which he wanted to go to back in 2010, and he was trying to convince Dwayne Wade if he was going to leave Cleveland, let's just go to New York. And that didn't materialize. And I think he would probably feel that he would be best suited there to win another championship. But there's also something in me that believes that LeBron James, and I've been saying this now for the last couple of years, that he's going to finish his career in Golden State. I think he's wanted to play with Steph Curry for a very long time. I think that he's also wanted to play under Steve Kerr. Draymond Green's also there. And now you're also saying that you're not wasting the final years of Steph Curry and you're giving him at least one more legitimate shot at winning an NBA championship. So I understand the appeal of wanting to go home, doing this now for a third time. I don't know if Cleveland, if they're thinking about this, is saying, would this be malpractice for us in terms of our future? But now there's also reports that LeBron may retire after this season, depending on how fast the NBA gets a team in Vegas. I don't think he wants to leave the NBA without a farewell tour. And I think he wants a chance at another championship ring. That would give him 5. I think he does it in Golden State. That's going to do it for us. Thank you to Dante Marchitelli. Thank you, the city of Jacksonville, for giving us a couple moments. God bless. May your shots always hit the bottom of the net. And we'll talk to you next week.
From the tee to the green and everywhere in between. Join Dan